Ahí está. ¿Voy a poder escuchar o?
Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Good afternoon and welcome. Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. My name is John Fanistil with the Friends of Friendship Park. Mi nombre es John Fanistil con el grupo Friends of Friendship Park, los amigos del Parque de la Amistad. And thank you for joining us today. This is going to be a brief presentation about our new Build That Park campaign. Vamos a presentar brevemente hoy una introducción a nuestra nueva campaña que se llama en inglés Build That Park. Y vamos a estar subiendo la presentación a Facebook. We're going to be live streaming to Facebook. And so I just invite you, if you don't want your image to appear, we'll be focusing mostly on the presentation itself. But if you don't want your image to appear on Facebook, I'd invite you to close your camera now. Sí, vamos a estar subiendo la presentación en Facebook, en nuestra página de Facebook. Y si no quieren salir en nuestra página, pueden cerrar, por supuesto, sus cámaras ahora. I'm going to just say a brief word of introduction to Friendship Park. Voy a compartir una breve introducción al Parque La Amistad. And we're then going to hear a presentation from our architect, James Brown, who will share an initial glimpse of our vision for a truly binational park. This presentation from James Brown will be recorded and is available in English only. Vamos a compartir luego una presentación por parte de nuestro arquitecto, Jim Brown. Esta presentación está grabado y será presentada en inglés. And then we'll go out on site on the Mexican side to Friendship Park, where our friends and colleagues, Robert Vivar and Dan Wattman, will share a word about the campaign as we're launching it on the ground here in the border region. Y luego vamos al Parque La Amistad del lado mexicano para escuchar de Robert Vivar y Daniel Wattman, quien va a compartir sobre los proyectos de la campaña que estamos iniciando. I'm going to check with Aida. Are we ready to go Facebook Live? Todavía no. Tu micrófono, Aida.
Give me just 1 minute, okay?
Sure. I'm going to give a chance for our other members of our Friends of Friendship Park Coalition to introduce themselves. Robert, do you and Dan want to just introduce yourselves?
Sure, John. Thank you very much. My name is Robert Vivar, and I'm part of the Friends of Friendship Park Coalition. And also I'm part of Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center. We want to welcome you to this press conference and ask you to visit our page, Build That Park. And I have with us here also.
We're going to continue with this campaign. We're going to continue with this campaign until August 18th of next year. That date, August 18, 2021, is the 50th anniversary of Borderfield State Park, the U.S. side of Friendship Park. And on that occasion, we'll be unveiling a robust conceptual design for what a truly binational park would look like at this historic location. Nuestra campaña de Build That Park es una campaña de 12 meses. A través de esos 12 meses vamos a estar desarrollando un plan conceptual, pero completo, de lo que sería un parque verdaderamente binacional aquí en este lugar histórico. Most of you perhaps are familiar with Friendship Park, but as a brief introduction for those who may be new, voy a compartir una breve introducción al parque para los que no lo conocen bien. At the westernmost edge of the US-Mexico border sits a small cement circle, half of the circle in Mexico and half of the circle in the United States. And at the center of that circle is a monument, which was in fact the first monument put in place by a binational commission at the end, in the aftermath of the US-Mexico War. The original monument, erected in the early 1850s, was replaced in the 1890s, but it's that location which some people call the birthplace of the border because it's the place where the boundary between the two countries was first demarcated. Ahí al final de la frontera entre México y los Estados Unidos, al oeste, cerca de la playa, se encuentra en un círculo de cimiento. La mitad del círculo está en México y la mitad en los Estados Unidos. Y al centro de ese círculo se encuentra un monumento, lo cual fue el monumento original demarcando la nueva línea entre los Estados Unidos y México después de la guerra entre los dos países. Entonces se estableció ese monumento en los años 1850, lo reemplazaron en los 1890, pero ese mismo monumento es el lugar de inicio, hasta algunos lo llaman el lugar de nacimiento de la frontera entre los dos países. Across many generations, people visited at this location without interruption or obstacle of any kind. And the park was always intended, and the monument was always intended to serve as a reminder of the friendship between the peoples of our two countries. A través de muchas generaciones, muchas personas han visitado a ese monumento, a ese parque, y siempre como un símbolo de amistad entre los dos países. And really, it's only in the last 10, 15 years that access to this historic location has been restricted by the federal government on the United States side. Es únicamente en los últimos 15 años que el acceso al público se ha limitado en los Estados Unidos por parte del gobierno federal de nuestro país. Our Build That Park campaign is going to create a vision for what this park is truly meant to be, a binational park grounded in the values of peace and friendship, which we believe are the values that can, in the long haul, lead to true security for the peoples of both countries. Nuestra campaña es para establecer una visión de un parque verdaderamente binacional en este lugar y un parque basado en los valores de paz y de amistad, en los cuales depende, según nuestra perspectiva, la seguridad de los pueblos de las dos naciones. Así que vamos a compartir ahora una presentación de nuestro arquitecto James Brown. Él va a explicar algo más de nuestra campaña, la campaña de 12 meses para crear el diseño.
Yeah.
Y luego vamos a escuchar voces de nuestros amigos en la frontera. Y luego vamos a abrir para preguntas, si hay preguntas de los medios de comunicación o de los participantes en esta reunión. Damos gracias por la presencia de cada uno de ustedes. Thank you for participating. I'm now going to share a presentation from our architect, Jim Brown, who will detail this 12-month campaign. Then we'll hear from voices on the ground at Friendship Park, and then we'll open it up for questions, whether questions from the media or from questions from you who are participating in this event. So thank you for once more for joining us. And now we'll hear from James Brown. Ahora vamos a escuchar de James Brown.
Can you guys all see that okay?
Yes.
Imagine a different kind of border. I mean, we're all, us living in San Diego, Tijuana, we're used to a certain kind of militarized presence on our border, a somewhat ugly presence. And it comes from seeking security, the never-ending ratcheting up of ever higher and higher walls, ever more numerous walls, until there's the dream that will achieve something, that will achieve security, when in fact that is not the right strategy for achieving security. We are convinced, and have been convinced for some time, that the best security that we can ever achieve is true friendship and cooperation with our neighbors to the south and our neighbors to the north. That is true and long-lasting security. And we want to show a manifestation of this friendship and cooperation and unity by the creation of a binational park on our border with Mexico, taking place at the site where Friendship Park is now, as the border meets the Pacific Ocean. I'll show you, give you an idea of some of this. All of you in the press, I think, are familiar with the site, but I'm going to mention it because there'll be other people that listen to this later that may not be. Here's the border running across here along into the ocean. On the north side, there's a large estuary that extends for miles all the way to Imperial Beach. On the south side, there's the vibrant community of Playas with housing, restaurants, businesses lining the beach and a road and a boardwalk down here. The old historic bull ring. They haven't had bullfights there lately, but it's a gorgeous historic structure. And beautiful canyons that used to run straight through unimpeded and might again one day soon, we hope. The current condition, this is not even the current condition. This was the condition from, say, 15 years ago, when there was just one fence on the wall, and families, although this was not a great place to meet, it was the only way families could come and meet their loved ones that weren't able to travel back and forth. So you would have families travel to this meeting place from all over Latin America and from all over the United States and Canada, traveling thousands of miles in some cases. And why wouldn't you? If it's your only chance to see a sister, a brother, a grandchild, a great-grandchild, perhaps the last time you'll see your parents, the last time you might see your grandparents in person, this is where you would come. Now the situation is a lot worse. There are two walls separated by some 75 feet, and the mesh is so tight you can't even put a fingertip through. This proposal seeks to remedy that action. Now, we're starting now in August 2020. We're going to be completed with this, this design process in August 18th, 2021, which is the 50th anniversary of Friendship Park. John spoke about that earlier. And this is not just going to be us doing this project. This is going to be a variety of people, stakeholders, grassroots organizations, designers from across the world, students from across the world, practitioners, artists. We're going to be holding design competitions to get ideas. It's going to be a very inclusive time. This is an interesting little snippet from the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848. And I don't know if treaties are legally binding. I suppose they are. And if they are, listen to the language of this one. Upon a solid basis, relations of peace and friendship, which shall confer reciprocal benefits upon the citizens of both and ensure the concord, harmony, and mutual confidence wherein the two people should live as good neighbors. We're not meeting the words of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The only way that we can maintain good relations with our neighbors to the south is to treat them with respect. And in turn, we will be treated with respect. And the first step is to create this binational park, a place of celebration, an obvious place of coordination, mutual benefits for both countries and all the people within the park. This is the existing conditions for the park. These are the buildings there now. So I'm going to use my cursor. I want to show you the scope of this park. In Tijuana, the park might encompass this whole area, a vast swath of land. In the United States, a like-minded size. In the United States, it's bordered by some disturbed ground that borders the estuary to the north. It's already previously graded. It is not our intention to disturb the delicate estuary. In fact, just the opposite. We'll be using what nature has given us, this already disturbed area, Monument Mesa. Currently, there's a parking lot here and picnic areas. It's a big, big area, and we'll be hopefully encompassing the same area in Tijuana. And you might ask, well, how? What are you going to do? Are you going to destroy all these residences, businesses, the bull ring, what the bull ring might become in the future? No, it's just the opposite. Every one of those residences will remain, and they will remain as residences. Every one of those businesses and more will remain in Tijuana. And possibly this beautiful string with this gorgeous boardwalk that traverses right along the beach. Can you imagine if it extends into the US and people are strolling along the boardwalk, crossing the international border between two countries? It's a wonderful vision. This is the very ugly, this is looking at Friendship Park from the north to the south. As important as this meeting space is in the world, it is one of the least attractive and oppressive parks I've ever laid eyes on. We're going to remedy that. So what we're proposing, if you can imagine this as one binational park, the Border Patrol, Homeland Security has many devices to passively watch this northern boundary of the binational park. There will be no fence on the northern boundary. Likewise, there will be no fence on the southern boundary in Tijuana, in Playas. Really, the city will appear mostly unchanged in this area. We will be building along the actual physical border line a retractable fence for those periods of time that it is necessary to close it. And our vision is that this is a 24-hour binational park, and it's a pedestrian border crossing. No cars, pedestrian only. So in order to keep the very delicate estuary unencumbered, we don't want cars coming out here. And it would be entirely inappropriate to have yet another line of cars here. But pedestrians, yes. The people would come out to the site from the US side by a trolley or a tram, hugging the high ground out of the influence of the very delicate estuary. So to cut down on traffic jams, smog, just a little jitney that goes back and forth to a distant parking garage, and also joining the trolley system in general. That's how you arrive at the park on the US side. On the Mexican side, in Playas, you arrive at the park in many different areas. It's a fascinating and almost a binational city we're creating. It flirts with a true binational city. Some of the basic ideas, and by no means are we trying to dictate the design process ahead of time. This is a 12-month process, but imagine taking the tram out to an entry point. Yes, the estuary is important, so we have interpretive centers and museums that talk about the estuary, talk about the history of the land itself. The border line itself culminates in a pier extending 1,500 to 2,000 feet out into the ocean. Not just a walking pier, but a wide pier, perhaps 100 feet wide, with meeting rooms, conference rooms, restaurants, hotels. This is an active place, not just a grassy field. It's dense with buildings, it's dense with uses, dense with the sharing of ideas and commerce. And I don't know what will become of the bull ring, but it will remain. It's a beautiful historic structure. Imagine this as a conference center. You might, who knows, maybe a little slit could be cut out of it so the views of the ocean would be opened up. Concerts, discussions, debates about the future of borders in general, about the future of the world. And this is a demonstration project for how we need to start thinking about our borders in the future. All over the world, there's clashes at borders. It's becoming more and more apparent and more frequent that something has to be addressed here. It's the strategy of just fortifying the walls even more. You can see it's a losing strategy. We have to do something radically different, and this project demonstrates exactly what can be done. Imagine these buildings trickling through and the boardwalk trickling through along the beach. Gorgeous. There's case studies we're studying. There's lots of good examples of projects and parks all over the world. And the most simplest referral you could talk about is our very own Peace Arch Park. The United States already runs a binational park. A lot of people don't know this. It's on our Canadian border, located between Blaine, Washington, and Surrey, British Columbia. So Homeland Security knows how these work. We're not making it up completely. They've done it before. Here's our process. As I said, it's a 12-month process. Step 1, listen to the voices. We're collecting people's stories about the borderlands now, about their interaction with this part of the border. We're starting to collect stories from grassroots organizations and people that work within this space. And not just this space, but borders around the world. We will be honoring the history. We will not forget the first peoples. Before the US was in this area, before Mexico was in this area, the Kumeyaay Nation was in this area. They will have an important voice in the development of this park, and we intend to engage them from the very beginning. We will be engaging designers, hosting international design competitions. We will pick specific focus topics because the park is a very large park. For instance, one topic might be, how do you get people to the site? How do you bound the park? What would the pier be like? All of these will be separate design competitions meant to elicit specific, not just general, but specific responses to the challenges that are put forward. I myself am teaching 3 studio classes at San Diego State, and I have, I have 72 students. We will all be working on this park for the next 4 months, and probably my next sections as well next semester. Finally, we will coalesce the ideas. We are not at all, our goal is not to have a finished design at the end of 12 months. It's too big of a project for that. We are trying to just shake beautiful ideas out of a tree, and we are trying to inspire people that are in Washington, that are in public service here in California. Inspire them with a vision. When they see it, they go, I want that. We need to send this message to our citizens of both countries, because our citizens of the United States and the citizens of Mexico are starting to forget that we're friends. They've been told for so many years that we're not welcome, they're not welcome, we must be fighting, we have to keep each other out. That has to stop. Our best security easily is communication and cooperation. We will mutually benefit from this. So that's our strategy. We did an interaction several years ago, 2011, where we did convince Homeland Security to take one of their tall walls and crack open a 50-foot long gate, rolling gate. It was a small interaction. It helped with some of the several events that we host at Friendship Park. But, you know, it's a Band-Aid on a big, big wound. But so we intend to turn this little crack we made in the wall into a real project that really expresses openness. So that's what we intend to do. And there's buildthatpark.org. Please go to our website. There's a lot more information there. This presentation will be uploaded to that website as well as several other things I think would be helpful for you members of the press to learn from. And I think with that, do you have questions?
Thank you very much. I'm going to go out now to Robert Vivar and Dan Wattman, who are on site at Friendship Park on the Mexican side of the border. And Robert, can you or Dan want to begin with a word from the ground?
Sure, Jen is going to go ahead and go first.
Hola amigos, buenas tardes.
Dan, we're not hearing you very well.
Oh no.
Is there a better way for you to get your voice to the microphone?
Sí. Is that any better? Any better?
That's better, thank you.
Is that okay? Great. Muy bien, pues bienvenidos todos al Parque Binacional. Yo soy Daniel Wattman, soy el coordinador del Jardín Binacional de Amistad y Plantas Nativas, y quiero decir que estoy muy emocionado sobre esta idea de expander el jardín con el nuevo parque binacional que estamos queriendo, pues ya tenemos un diseño conceptual y queremos construirlo, ¿no? Yo estoy muy emocionado porque el propósito del jardín tiene dos, ¿no? Es crear un espacio donde la gente pueda entablar amistades a través del muro y promover la flora nativa de la región. Entonces son puras plantas nativas y el diseño del jardín son círculos, ¿no? Entonces aquí del lado mexicano donde estoy hay un semicírculo y, de llantas y luego ese círculo sigue al otro lado para cerrar el círculo del lado estadounidense y tenemos 3 círculos binacionales, ¿no? Y como digo, estoy súper emocionado de la posibilidad de expandir este jardín y el parque en general, porque si ven, de este lado, las plantas están muy altas del lado mexicano, porque tenemos mucho acceso y tienen bastante cuidado. Del lado estadounidense, siempre es una batalla por la política estadounidense en la frontera. Entonces, si tuviéramos un parque binacional, ese es un ejemplo de que lo que podría haber y más, ¿no? Podríamos tener algo que contribuye mucho más al ecosistema de aquí. La flora nativa es súper importante y esta idea de colaborar a través del muro es también súper importante porque la flora nativa no tiene fronteras, ¿verdad? O por lo menos no tiene fronteras políticas. A lo mejor tiene fronteras de clima, pero obviamente donde estoy yo y a 3 metros al norte en Estados Unidos es el mismo clima. Entonces la naturaleza no reconoce las fronteras políticas y entonces va a ser un sueño que este muro ya no esté aquí y que tengamos un parque binacional, ¿verdad? Entonces, I'll say it in English now. My name's Dan Watman, and I'm the coordinator for the Binational Friendship Garden of Native Plants, where I'm standing right now. And the idea of the garden has been to create a space where people can make friends across the border. The garden is located within Friendship Park. So that's kind of the idea in general of Friendship Park, for people to make friends across the border. And the second purpose of the garden is to promote native flora of the region. So it's all native plants within our garden. And you can see the design here on the Mexican side. You can see these tires make up a half circle. And then over on the other side there's the circle continues to complete a full circle through the fence, challenging these separations with unity through across the border. And we have 3 binational circles, including a wish garden where people can write wishes on rocks. And I am super, I can't even explain how excited I am about the possibility of this garden being expanded. And that is the plan for this binational park. The concept that we have going includes an expansion of the garden. That means an expansion of friendship, an expansion of promotion of native flora, an expansion of taking care of our environment. Native flora, of course, what's native here, 10 feet to the north is also native. So nature doesn't recognize borders, only recognizes climate borders. It doesn't recognize political borders. So we have struggled over the years to send that message, and it is like a dream for me to be able to have a park where that message can be realized. So thank you very much. I think that's my time. I'm gonna turn it over to Robert at this point. Muchas gracias, es mi tiempo, se lo voy a pasar el micrófono a Robert.
Thank you, Daniel. Again, my name is Robert Vivar. I'm part of the Friends of Friendship Park. court leadership group. I'm also a coordinator with Border Church Mexico and co-director of Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center here in Tijuana, Mexico. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about what Friendship Park actually means to me. And, you know, as a grandfather has been deported, the Build the Park campaign is special to me because Friendship Park is the only place on the USA-Mexico border where mixed status families can come together, if only for a few hours during the weekend, and continue the love and care for each other that the Spirit of God has placed in our hearts. May this love never diminish by the separation of these man-made barriers. After my deportation and not seeing my family for a few years, Friendship Park provided the setting for my family reunification with my military son and my precious granddaughters. You know, it is priceless to see the sparkle of a grandparent's eyes when they meet their grandchild for the first time after years of separation. The tears in their eyes are difficult to interpret as they are tears of joy or sadness that this mesh barrier prevents them from embracing their new treasure. The pain in the older mother's eyes as they see the child they were separated from for decades. Yes, Friendship Park is our sacred ground because family is a God-given gift. What God has joined, let no man-made barrier separate. Para mí el Parque de la Amistad es un lugar muy especial y nuestra campaña de Build That Park en particular es muy especial por la oportunidad que les da a esas familias que han sido separadas por esas leyes injustas de migración, poder ser una familia, continuar con el amor y el cariño que el Espíritu de Dios ha instalado en nosotros para poder seguir un proceso de no perder el contacto con nuestras familias. A mí en lo particular, este parque es muy especial porque después de mi deportación, tuve la oportunidad de abrazar a mi hijo militar y a mis nietas preciosas a través de la puerta de emergencia, lo cual para mí fue una gran emoción. Tenemos abuelos, abuelas que nunca han conocido a sus nietos y cuando a través de este muro esos abuelos ven por primera vez a ese nieto, a esa nietecita, es increíble el brillo de los ojos que muestran. Es muy triste saber también que esa madre ya anciana, que no ha visto a sus hijos, a sus hijas por décadas, de repente se encuentra con ellos también en este muro. Una sonrisa de tristeza, una emoción agridulce de no poder estrechar los brazos de sus seres queridos debido a este muro. Por eso para nosotros Friendship Park es un lugar sagrado, porque la familia es un don que Dios nos ha dado, y lo que Dios nos ha dado, que ninguna barrera hecha por hombre nos llegue a separar. El día de hoy los quiero invitar a nuestra página www.buildthatpark.org y llenar una encuesta con su experiencia que han tenido ustedes en su visita aquí a Friendship Park para aquellos que nos han visitado. I would like to invite you to come and join us at www.buildthatpark.org and fill out our survey and let us know what your impact has been felt when you've been here in Friendship Park. Tell us your story, how it has impacted you. Show us your pictures or a short video. We would very welcome to hear your story. Thank you very much. God bless you. Muchas gracias. Dios los bendiga.
Thank you, Robert. I won't take time to click through it because you can do that on your own, but you can explore the website. You can explore elements of the design process that we're launching today, a 12-month design process. You can also subscribe to stay in touch, donate to support our design process. sign the petition. We have almost 1,000 signatures on change.org, and we're now prepared to launch that petition publicly. But as Robert mentioned, most importantly, we'd invite you to share your story. A simple click here will take you to a form where you can share with us your story, upload a photo or a video, and tell us about your experience at Friendship Park or along the US-Mexico border. Así que estamos invitando que comparten sus historias por medio de nuestro sitio web, buildthatpark.org. También puede explorar el diseño, el proceso de diseño que estamos iniciando hoy, y también se puede firmar la petición que hemos iniciado. I'm going to open it up for questions. I first want to see if there are any questions from our media guests. I'll take any questions from media, and then we'll open it up for conversation with our friends. So thank you to so many of you who have joined us. Primero quiero ver si hay alguna pregunta por parte de los medios de comunicación. ¿Alguna pregunta?
Sí, ¿me escucha?
Sí, adelante.
Mira, está bien. Lo único que no pudimos es grabar esta reunión porque no pudimos obtener el permiso de ustedes. Lo que queremos saber es por cuestiones de deadline o que que el tiempo nos queda corto, ¿qué tan rápido podemos obtener este video lo más rápido posible?
Sí, adentro de 15 minutos te lo puedo enviar. Al terminar este evento en línea, podemos enviarte el video en 15 minutos. Estoy poniendo mi correo electrónico en el chat, john@viainternational.org. Si me envías un correo electrónico, te lo puedo enviar la grabación inmediatamente después de este evento.
Ok, gracias. Por lo
De
demás
hecho,
está bastante claro y vamos a promover más que todo lo del Build That Park.
Gracias. Sí, buildthatpark.org es el home base, el centro del esfuerzo, ¿verdad?
Sí, lo tenemos bastante claro. Gracias por la presentación.
Gracias. De hecho, voy a terminar la grabación ahorita para adelantar este proceso de recibir la grabación final. Así que debe de estar listo en la grabación en 15 minutos. I'll stop recording now, and I should be able to send out that recording in just about 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.